So, do you believe in aliens? I am not a financial advisor, and this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. The content discussed here is not intended as financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All opinions expressed are my own. Aloha and welcome back to the week that was, your weekly market recap. I am your host, Colin Edsman, currently wearing an alien hat, as you can see. Some of the news this week revolved around aliens. Surprisingly enough, we got a lot of files out about whether they exist or more information about them. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't read a lick of it, because there's a lot of it. So I figure with some time this weekend, I dive in, and this coming Sunday, on the week to come, we'll go over what kind of aliens could or could not exist. Why not? Since it's in the news, we can talk about it. Now, it didn't affect the prediction markets, but we can get into that in just a little bit. This week in the markets, though, the U.S. added 115,000 non-farm payrolls in April, nearly double the 62,000 estimate. With unemployment steady at 4.3%, this robust labor data boosts investor confidence and future markets, supporting SPY's rise. Now, if you were looking at the S&P 500 this week, you already know what I'm about to say. It closed at over 7,360 to almost 7,400. Like, I can't even get it out. I'm so just taken aback by the amount of movement we got. We're talking about like 17.5% in a matter of weeks. Like April 1st, and then poof, all of a sudden we're back. Also, the NASDAQ is up as well. Let's double check what's going on with that. Now, I hope you're doing well wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for joining me if you are here now, and if you are here later, please, by all means, leave your comments in the chat, in the comment section. Ask me some questions if you got some. Throw some hate. I don't really care. Whatever moves the content at this point. At the moment, I'm currently talking to myself, so this is going to be for down the road. The Nasdaq edges down about 10% today. Let's see. Yep, about 10% today, showing about 2% revenue growth to 2.137 billion and a 33% rise in diluted EPS to 91 cents. Yep. Now, operating income increased to 20%, driven by strong SaaS and financial technology segments. The company declared a quarterly cash dividend, supporting income-focused investors. These results highlighted positive momentum in recurring revenue. Now, I'm reading this off of Robinhood Digest because honestly, it's the most up-to-date information I can get a hold of. Just in case something happened between market close like 6 hours ago and now. Currently, we're sitting here at about 8 o'clock here in Hawaii. This hat is going to get increasingly hot, but check this out. We might have aliens out there. So maybe I'll touch a base on a little bit, at least some thoughts. So if they exist, great. If they don't exist, great. They're equally as thought-provoking, whether we're alone or not alone. Now, I saw some articles about how it could affect religion. Now, that is, I mean, we can't be the only one out there. Why would any intelligent creator make only one being in this, or one species of being in this entire universe? Like, we have how many different living beings on this planet alone? Crazy. But I don't know. Let's see what else happened in the markets today. I'll bring up some charts and then we can get into it. Some other information that happened this week. Bitcoin is up a little bit. It got over 80,000. That's, thank goodness. Took them a little while. Oof. All right. All right, here we go. So this is the Nasdaq. I got it on the real small candle, so obviously nothing's happening at the moment. Closed at 29,234. We have the SPY that edged up about 0.85%. Closed at 737.82. And then we got the Dow Jones Industrial Average. How did we do there? Edged down just a tad, but closed basically even. There's a lot of different earnings that came out this week. If you followed some of the previous lives that I did this week, I went over and watched the Open Door earnings. That was honestly all over the place. I don't know what to make heads or tails of what's going on. Maybe a little bit too honest. Wasn't bullish enough. The charts itself didn't really love what happened either. Let's check it out. How it finished off the week. So I had some covered calls on Open Door. I didn't expect them to do well. The overall macro is just not conducive for real estate. And that's it. And that's okay. In time, it'll bounce back. But as you can see, it finished off the day here under 5. At 5. Ooh, at $5. I'm going to have to check whether those shares got called away or not. Honestly, I don't care. I mean, it was kind of all baked in anyway, because where did we close at? Here we go. At 10, 11, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Here. Okay, so my shares almost got called away. That's hilarious, but whatever. Open Door's a long hold. I still have the overall thesis is still intact as far as how the company will function coming down the pipe. Their revenues year over year is still looking pretty good. Let's take a look at what Digest brings up. That's options. Yum, 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 yum. Here we go. So Opendoor reported Q1 2026 results earlier this week. We were live that day with revenue of 720 million, beating estimates of 666 million, which is great, right? They beat estimates. And after earnings, the earnings came out, the markets were up that day a little bit. But then after, while the earnings were happening, that's when things got a little bit hairy. Like even during the earnings call, like you could see the stock price coming down. So they did better than expected. Loss per share was 5 cents, better than the expected 7 cents. CEO Kaz, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name because I've heard it pronounced like 12 ways, stated that the company achieved adjusted EBITDA profitability on 12-month forward basis as of April Fool's Day, marking operational progress. The company also saw a 45-degree increase in homes purchased quarter over quarter, and reduced aged inventory significantly. Not quite sure what they mean by aged inventory. I'm pretty sure maybe the age of the homes. I don't know. I'm speculating wildly here. Q2 guidance. Opendoor's projected Q2 revenue of 900 million, below the consensus estimate of 1.3 billion. So that's not great, but I can see a turnaround if we get some rapid adjustments in the overall market for real estate, as well as the overall market for just rates overall, right? So the interest rates on home loans, mortgages, that kind of thing, it's just a little bit on the high side for how society functions at the moment, just because it's so expensive. 7% mortgage rate is high, but there was times in history where mortgage rates were double digits. So it all comes down to the overall macro, and it's just not conducive for real estate. Honestly, I think it feels like more of a high on the real estate market than a low. So if you're in the position to sell, if you're selling, congratulations, this might be a good time. Not real estate investment advice. So retail investor trends. Ahead of Q1 earnings, retail investors reduced holdings in Opendoor, especially younger investors under 35, amid high mortgage rates. Yep. And elevated home prices. Yep. Despite this, older investors slightly increased exposure. This shift in retail sentiment added mild downward pressure in stock in early May. Yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, let's take a look at the bigger chart here. Yay! Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for joining the chat. Yeah, it goes up and down. I'm not sure if you're still watching or not, but look at it. I know. So a story a little bit on this hat, real fast. My grandmother got me this hat, and my wife this hat, a matching one but in pink, for Christmas one year, and it's just been one of the numerous hats in my hat collection. I love having different hats. It's kind of just like a physical manifestation of what the mind sort of feels in the moment, right? So I got underneath this I've got my Van Eyck hat, but it's a bit of a complicated headdress going on here, so I'm not going to discombobulate it till I run my ad from sponsors. But back to Opendoor real fast. Apologize for that diversion. But as you can see, Opendoor, like, it pumped, it ran, but then it came back down and it's kind of in this sideways trade, which is not a bad thing, because if you look at where it was down here in the 50s less than a year ago. Yes, less than a year ago, it was 50 cents. So if you're complaining, it's because you're over eager about how you think the price was going to go, and it didn't go as expected, because it never does. But right now is like a prime time to sell cash secured puts and covered calls, because as you can see, it's not going to go below this 4.27, right? So you can write some covered calls for $4. I mean, this is not huge premiums, right? So you'd have to write a fair amount of them to make any kind of profit. But because I started buying them so early, and I got egregious, I didn't take enough profits, blah 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 blah, the normal things that happen during excitement. And then it ran, like, this was during around the time of, what was that called? Oh, It was right around that. It was right around Hood Summit. Basically the same, like the week after it started doing all this running. Luckily enough, I learned a lot of information there at Hood Summit, and I learned how to do selling of options. I learned how to do more options trading to protect myself, and I did. And luckily enough, I'm holding on to a decent amount, and it's been a decent income driver for me personally, because I can kind of guarantee what it is. So I'm not overly complicated about my trading. I kind of keep the trades the trade profits directed towards a goal of some sort. So let's say Open Door pays a certain amount, you just use that amount for a bill, right? You can keep it small. Let's say you're going to run them on a weekly. They pay like $12 on a weekly. That's one subscription right there. You just got like that's it. You just take that profit and pay for a subscription you have, right? So if you can keep your goals small, they tend to compound a lot bigger over time because you are realistic. Like that's half the game. It's just being realistic about your trades, being realistic about what the money is for. Because if you don't have a potential goal in mind, it's just ones and zeros sitting on a screen. Now I'm pretty young, so I can have pretty ambitious goals, right? I can put it some in retirement, but I really don't care about that at the moment. Like it's just gonna slowly drip in that direction. My goal is to master my system and master a type of trading that I feel comfortable with, so I can show others that this can be learned and this can be taught, self-taught. There's so many ways to trade. It's it's not infinite because that doesn't exist, but it's innumerous to the point where you can kind of come up with overly complicated or very simple ways to trade. Like the simplest way to trade is buy something cheap and sell it when it's expensive. And that overall thought process is just now compounded and complicated through different vehicles of trading, whether it's options trading or it's futures trading, cryptocurrency trading. Like it's all got its own nuances, but it's all revolving around the same thing. You sell at some point in the future to utilize the profits for something. Now another huge mover this week, speaking of movement, is Intel. Oh, I love talking about this stock. Here we go, Intel. Now Intel did some huge movements. Today they moved 12% alone. But yeah, here we'll look back at this kind of bigger chart. So if you're somewhere over here when you bought it, congratulations. It was in the kind of 44 range, right? Kind of trading sideways earlier in the year. Like this is where it was at the start of this year, right? Somewhere in the 36 range. This is sort of where I started buying it. Somewhere in the 19 range. Because honestly, Intel has gone through almost every single bad thing this generation has dealt with, and they still exist. Like there were huge powerhouses when Intel was a baby, or even just not even a baby, but like a teenager. Like so let's say Blockbuster is one. But if we draw back, look how long it took for Intel to come back. Like it topped off at 69 and then fell off again, right? But it's just the insane amount of movement going on here. It's just mind-boggling, even to me. Because I picked it up because it's a legacy hold for the family, so might as well buy some because, duh. Holy moly. So I didn't even realize it closed at 126. 126 even. Wow. That is crazy. Wow. I'm going to just take that in for a moment before I pass out. Okay, all right. So back to Intel. So I know they had a partnership with Apple today. That's why this was such a big move on today's chart. Let's go down to let's reduce the candle size so we can see what just today did. Excuse the in and out there. All right, here we go. So as you can see, this is just today's movement. I mean, started the day somewhere in there in the 109s and then popped off. So from Robinhood Digest, Intel rises 0.8% on Friday from Friday's close. Yeah, that's not. Don't read that. That's not correct because it obviously blew through this here. So don't listen. Don't listen to Cortex on this one. Apple deal impact. So Intel reached a preliminary agreement to manufacture chips for Apple devices, addressing Apple's chip shortage and boosting Intel's foundry business prospects. So that was one of the biggest things and reasons why Grandpa would hold it forever too, even through this turmoil of last year, of it getting almost down to like $17, I think was the lowest I saw it. That foundries are very hard to make, and the fact that Intel already has them means that it's better for us as a country because they already have the infrastructure built. It is not years and years and years trying to build more foundries. So it was just getting negative price action, I guess, because it just wasn't functioning the way that the markets wanted things to function last year. Last year was a lot of speculation year, I think. Now companies still had a lot of revenue, blah 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 blah. But last year's markets were not based in sort of the infrastructure of how AI is going to be built or how computers need to be built. SanDisk is another good one. Love you, Intel. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah. Now this has just been a straight up, just like the first time I've ever seen something just trade straight in the air forever. This was like $40 last year. $40. It is 1560, right? Look at this. Look, this is like this is like a year ago. What? Like you could retire on like one of these movements. Insane. Now it looks like it's the moving averages have got it to revert back to kind of a 900 range, but honestly, like everything's overextended. I've got a couple of short positions, nothing huge, just like honestly these are lotto tickets just because I would prefer to buy the stock, but just I don't think it needs to find a stability area, right? So my goal is to always pick up something at a moving average. And this is just way blown over all of them, right? There's the 20, there's the 50, there's the 100, there's the 150, there's the 200. All way far away. So even if I was considering picking up a buy position, it wouldn't be till it's under 1,000 again. If it ever gets there. I don't know. This stock has done a crazy amount of movement. Just I it makes sense because it's storage, right? We need storage. I look around my office and there's that one. There's one over there. I got one plugged into the computer that powers the TV behind me. I mean, SanDisk is literally all over this room. And I didn't consider buying the dang thing. So, note to self, next time. Like, it's not even in this fully extended overbought on the RSI. Oh my gosh, it could totally keep going. So, I know they have I want to say Barclays have it, a price target of like 1,700. 1,700. Bananas. So, that's kind of where, like, these probably would just max out and throttle back a bit. But who knows? This is just something we're just gonna have to follow. Like I'm not lucky enough to get into two stocks that do amazing in a year, right? So I'm happy with Intel. And honestly, I think Intel's got some time here. So I'm gonna throw the Intel chart over this chart because I'm honestly pretty curious. Adjust my hat. Make sure my alien head is okay. So this is going to come off just because it's getting a little bit warm. All right. See you soon, Mr. Alien Hat. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, a little bit better. No, oh yes, Intel Corp. Because I'm curious if we're going to see any correlative movement, and not even remotely. But actually, well, just a tad, just a tad. Okay, here we'll bring it in here. There. Okay, so it does look like there's some correlation between the way Intel moves and the way SanDisk moves. And I mean, it could just be the overall bullish sentiment going on right now in the AI market, the chip making semiconductors. Oh, another massive mover from our friends at Vanek is SMH. Oh, I love that stock too. Oh, this is just you just buy and forget about it. Oh, I'll take off the comparison. It's a little bit on the overbought side, but it's still got that massive movement because of all of the action going on. Now let's see what Digest has got on this. Like this is one of Vanek's like babies, golden goose. Because I mean, it moved so much. I mean, look at this. This is just since May 5th to today. Just incredible. All right, here's a little bit on SMH. SMH rises 5.3% from Friday's close amid broad semiconductor rally and a strong drop and strong jobs data. Semiconductor rally. The Vanek Semiconductor ETF has surged over 45%. 45% in the past month amid historic rally driven by AI infrastructure, demand and chip shortages. April saw record ETF inflows totaling about 4 billion, broadening gains beyond Nvidia to all major chip makers. This momentum supports SMH's recent price gains and reflects stronger investor interest in diversified semiconductor exposure. Now, it is an ETF, just like SPY, but this ETF has some of the most just brilliant companies in them. Let's pull it up. Ugh. Why doesn't it break it down like on my phone? Ugh. Got no hair. Ugh. I know Intel's in there, but I can't remember. You got. I think there's Mike. Why am I guessing? No guessing. Un momento, por favores. No guessing. We're in the world of AI. Okay, so here's some of the top holdings for SMH. It has Nvidia, which is 16 to 18%, Taiwan Supermicro, TSMC, yep, Broadcom, Intel, AMD, 6%. And then you got things like Mu, Texas Instruments, or MU, Micron, Lam Research, Analog Devices, and Qualcomm. So these companies are all bundled up into SMH. So that's why we got such a huge rally out of them going on right now. Just honestly, it's insane. Just congratulations to everybody who's in this position. I know a few people on Robinhood Social. I see them picking up shares of this, like just dollar cost averaging in. Smart moves because they're up who knows how much, at least 45% on their position, just because if they were buying it from a month ago. Wow. Now, how's Bitcoin doing overnight? So Bitcoin's price action was pretty good this week. I'm happy about it. We're staying above 80,000. That's nice. I think we're getting a little bit of bullishness after a Bitcoin conference. I'm still thinking about it. It looked like so much fun everybody had. Congrats to everybody who made it, everybody who made those networking connections. That's really what those conferences are for, is making these connections and seeing if those alpha plays will pan out for both of you. Because you have good moves, I have good moves, and we can share them, and then you share them, and I share yours, and all of a sudden we got a price action, some bullish movement because of the spread of information. And I personally trust information a little bit more if I can see your face when you're talking about it. If you're direct right here, watching it on the internet or seeing it posthumously after you post it, it's hard to really gauge, right? But if I'm standing right in front of you and ask you a question, or if you're presenting on stage and you start speaking about something that doesn't make you comfortable, I'll be able to tell. So it works out. But it's hard over the internet. So I like conferences for that because I can kind of see your motives right there in front of me. I read things better that way. But back to Bitcoin. So we're down a little bit after hours, but that's okay. Well, I mean, it trades 24/7, 365/6. As you can see, it's a little bit over. This is a 5 minute. Hold on. 5 minute candles are not how to look at trends. Alright, so we're up out of this kind of consolidation area here. There are some gaps that I can see that need to be filled. So I would say my first price target would be here, kind of 89, 90,000. I can see it happening because it kind of touched, right, just kind of touched this, I think this is what, the 200 day? Yeah. So just touched the 200-day moving average. So I suspect we're going to get a bit of a turnaround just for a bit, just because that's kind of what happens, right? It blew through all of the other ones, had a bit of a golden cross here. Maybe we get another one here, and that'll kind of push us up towards 90, 95. But I think right here, just to be realistic, we're going to kind of hit this 90,000 ceiling and probably test it a few times, just because that tends to happen, right? So we try, right? And then it comes down. Backing up a little bit, this is a great consolidation area. So if you missed it, well, if you missed this kind of low, it's fine, because you can kind of dollar cost average on the way up maybe. But it looks like Bitcoin is trying to clear this gap here. Just, I think that's where we should put our box. Another box. Because we're now back in my orange box. So we'll extend that first. Because I drew this who knows how long ago. But I try to buy outside the box and wait inside the box. And then sell outside the box. Kind of, right? That makes sense. It's simple. Because you can kind of see this is where things were happening, a lot of action was happening. We didn't know what was going on here inside this box, but we knew outside this box and outside this box were opportunities to buy. And up above here would be opportunities to start maybe trimming. Depends on how you like to play your Bitcoin. You hold some, you can trade some. I hold, and then I also trade exposure. Right, so you don't have to trade the Bitcoin itself, right? You can trade ETFs, you can trade Bitcoin farming, right? There are a lot of ways to trade Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain. Node is another good example, another great company, another great ETF by VanEck. They're the on-chain economy, and Node is doing well too. As you probably noticed in some previous pods, I wear the Node hat. Today I've got my Semiconductor Society hat representing that huge rally out of SMH. Oh, I know in last Sunday's pod we had played the commercial. Still hilarious. I can't think about potato chips or Doritos without thinking about microchips now. Thanks, Fennec. Appreciate that. Now I'm eating technology. But back to Node. As you can see, it's kind of an infantile ETF. It's pretty brand new, just like a lot of technology here in the blockchain. Now it seems to kind of consolidated here, and it's gonna maybe kind of test this 47 range. But since it's such like a small time frame, like it's brand new basically, less than a year. What is this? May. A little over a year old. Happy birthday. Haole Lahanau to this ETF. It just had a birthday. But it seems it's kind of testing this area here. Now it could break through because on-chain is on its way back. Bitcoin is on the way back. As I said, it's an exposure, so you can kind of trade this without having to touch your bags, because you can keep it off brokerage, put it on your ledger, your cold storage, and never think about it. But you can also consider trading the price action still, right? Because then you can use those tradable movements, those tradable profits, to buy more of the actual asset you want, which is Bitcoin, without actually having to touch the initial or the actual bag itself. Just keep buying Bitcoin, right? You can just do that. But I'm a trader because that's how I think. I'm always trying to conceptualize how things function, and in those stories I create, I make profits and sometimes loss. But that's just kind of how I think about things, and trading is just much more functioning for my brain. I'm not a sit and wait human being. I've always been, well, as you can tell, the channel is archery, but I'm a bit of a hunter, right? Regardless of whether it's animals or information, profits, I hunt. I'm always on the hunt. So because of that, I don't tend to wait very long on positions that I'm trading. So if I want to keep things a long time, I keep it out of my eyesight. So I put it in the back or put it in a separate account. Like I have theta, beta, alpha. I have a managed account with Robinhood Strategies. Oh my gosh, that's doing really well too. Can I look at my Robinhood Strategies account on Legend? I will figure that out. We'll get back to you on that. Another, just because I love Robinhood. Let's look at RBI. I love that company. I love that closed end fund ETF. There we go. Yo, Quantum Queso Dip in the chat. Welcome, bro. How you doing? We're checking out RBI right now. Corning's got some movement though, huh? Shoot, I'm late as hell to that. I had so much shizzle going on. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is good. Hope you're not working out. Oh, nice. Good, man. It's got some. Look at this chart though. It's like tiny. Hold up, but look at the movement we're getting out of this. So I'm not buying any more at the moment. I just don't know what it's doing. Honestly, I want to give it a chance to kind of find some sort of support area. Nice. 30 is a good entry, because I think that's a strong, at least for the few months old, that seems like a strong support area. And I think today's movement was because of Ramp. Ramp got some money, right? I think they got, or a better evaluation. I'm not 100% sure, but the information from Ramp, I think, is where that came from. I'm gonna double check actually. Looks like supported around the 30. Oh yeah, the OpenAI deal for sure. And I was getting someone talking about VCX today. I guess that's another maybe another play like this. I don't know. I didn't care because honestly, I like Ramp. OpenAI is great. All the other companies are great, but the one I know the most about is Ramp. They're just they just remind me of like a tiny Kalshi almost. The way they build. Yes, I saw that. Oh, Lego. Let's pull it up because everybody's gonna want to hear about this. Bruh, my legend is so jacked. It's like all the letters are all halfway cut off. Yes. That is some oh, wrong button. All right, for those of you who don't know what Corning is honestly, I think it's AI infrastructure. Yeah, here we go. So broader look quarter. Yep. Sector rides AI infrastructure rally. Yep. Corning's gains align with strong infrastructure performance in AI infrastructure and semiconductor sectors. Oh my God, everything's running in semiconductors. Like I can't think about anything else but Intel right now. I've just there's like so many shares. Like it's just I've never had a movement like that before. So holy moly, that's just so much. It's so much. But back to Corning. Let's pull it up in the bigger chart. Yeah, when we get you on the pod, we'll have you talk about Corning because I can't talk. I don't know enough about it. Oh, here we go. Corning did the glass for Thomas. Oh, dang. Okay, so Quantum Case just said Corning did the glass for Thomas Edison's first light bulb, and then also does all smartphone, yeah, for Apple since Steve Jobs asked him to. Interesting. So they're a super old company, legacy company. They've pivoted into making things for technology, so they've obviously got good stewardship and leadership because of that. These are all like off the cuff. Oh, this is I've got the Intel overlaid. I'm gonna move that. I'm just gonna pull this up here so I can see it because that makes more sense. Oh damn, but it's massive. Hold up. How do I make this tinier? And out of my way. Sort of. We'll see how this works out. I don't know. It's all working, and it's gone. Okay. Oh, jeez. Studio gremlins is, I guess, what Obi and Steph would call them. I need to fix that. Because now I don't know where the damn chat went. Yep, you're getting full screen me for 1 second while I figure out where the heck that went. Okay, I'm not going to move it up there anymore. Yep, you're staying right there so I can see it. Yep, it's all about the 3 R's, and receivers is one of those 3 R's for sure. Because, I mean, even after earnings, we got some great companies who are just not reacting the way you would expect them to. Like, there were some companies that weren't up when the markets were telling them to be up. Palantir is a good example. Let's see, what else is a good example? I think Microsoft is down. Meta is down. I'm not touching Meta. Like, I just don't like the guy, personally. I do like the Meta glasses that I own. I'll throw respect where respect is due, but just I hate that dude. I don't like that dude. That dude is just a dick. I mean, it's more on the way he treated native Hawaiian land on a different island is why I don't like him. So I cannot, out of good conscience to myself and my ancestors, ever buy Meta shares. Alright, I think I fixed it. Palantir has been lumped in. I know, what is up with that? Palantir is, I don't see them as a software company. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, bro. I don't necessarily know what Palantir does, but I'll happily hold their shares. I don't care. because I saw a commercial and that commercial slapped. And their recent talks were good. Their revenue is good. I mean, they're looking at what, another 85% they're going to make over the next 12 months? That's bananas. How is that even possible? Because they do something I don't know. There we go. But let's take a look at Palantir since we're talking about it. Okay. Here we go. Palantir trades now in a range better. The 150s down to the 130s. Ping pong. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Covered calls because, I mean, yeah, you're 100% right. Look at this right here. Boom. Let's do that. I'm going to throw a box in there. Because it's doing the same thing that Open Door was doing. It's just up and down, stuck. It's range bound right now. I don't know why Palantir is range bound. I know why Open Door is range bound. Housing market sucks. So that'll be my box for Palantir. I'll lock it in place. And when it goes towards the bottom of that box, I'll pick up more. When it goes towards the top of the box, I'll get excited, maybe do some covered calls or something like that. I don't know. It's just, well, I don't know why they're doing poorly stock wise, or they're not getting the love they're supposed to right now. But there's a lot of companies not getting any love. Yes, yeah. Anything that kind of ping pongs, bro. Yeah. Open doors ping ponging. Yeah. I'll pull that one up real fast. I don't know if that was up while you were in the chat or not. Because I can almost like it, the options chain is just nice and easy. The price action is easy to understand, and because the market itself is not conducive to Open Door just mooning all of a sudden, I don't anticipate getting my shares called away past 550. Like 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 I just got these back. Like I put out $5 calls, and like I think it closed at like 497. That was really close. Yeah, I gotta put my box up in here. But yeah, my little note here. Yeah, I'm not an overly complicated trader, as you can see. I put real tiny notes, I draw little boxes, and I keep my shit simple. Excuse my language. I'm gonna get flagged for that probably. Ugh, whatever. I'm still figuring this out. There we go. So there's another box, right? So if it leaves that box, I'll stop, maybe cut off the covered calls or apply some a little bit more heavy out of this box. But Bollinger Bands are contracted around the price action. Yeah, for sure. That's why I like using them. Because once they start ballooning, I don't know, there's probably a technical term for when it's all like, bloop, like just like, bloop. I don't know. There's a technical term for that probably. But that's when I don't tend to mess around too much. I kind of like, okay, let's see if that balloon chills out, and then I'll throw a covered call or something. But yeah, these $5 ones got a little bit dicey, but I was still right. It was just, I don't know, they didn't get called away, so I don't care. Uh, it's just the market's not for real estate right now. I don't know if you followed one of the like huge maxis for Open Door. Steve-O was his name. Any 8-bit Steve-O. I think he changed it recently. Um, I was following for a while, subscribed to him for a bit too, and then everything changed. Maybe he, okay. So backstory from what I know is I'm pretty sure he put like his entire life savings into Open Door, and behind Eric Jackson Johnson, Jefferson, Eric somebody, the dude hanging out outside Dr. Dre's house, no, Drake's house. See, that's how much I don't give a shit. Um, but there was like that huge movement of everybody just pouring into Open Door. And for me, I invest in real estate. Drake, yes, thank you, bro. I invest in real estate, right? That's what we do here in Hawaii. That's how there's a house here and the other houses, but we have real estate. Doesn't matter. But because I understand how that goes, and I'm currently going through the process of selling an investment property to uh, pick up a property on this island, it's a 1031 like kind exchange is what we're going through. I knew the market was good for selling because everything's so expensive here. And nationally, houses are expensive. So until that gets better, I don't see Open Door necessarily mooning. Also, I talked about this the other day, but I'll bring up a little bit. The majority of the people in the, at least United States, who own homes and real estate are not in our age group or not in my age group. A lot of them are like my parents' age or older. And I know my mom, who's quite young. Also, remember this weekend is Mother's Day. My mom would not buy and sell a home using an app. It would I think it would just kind of scare her off. But I think anybody under 45, that's definitely something that they would do because we understand it. We're pretty native to this sort of buying and selling things on our phones environment. But that's kind of a huge purchase, right? Because the people who bought these homes, they bought it traditionally. They bought it with a, a real estate broker, and they went and toured the houses in person and that sort of thing. But what Open Door is doing is starting to digitize a lot of this, and we're going to need people who understand that digital nature to want to invest. And also maybe with tokenization of real estate, we'll get some movement. I know the Clarity Act is set to maybe pass. I'm not going to hold my breath about it until they pass the damn thing. Just poop or get off the pot. I'm not going to swear anymore just because this pot will never get any movement if I swear too much. But with real estate overall, I just don't know where it's going in the short term. So this is great for open door trading, covered calls, and cash secured puts. Quantum Queso Dip says support is around $5 even with the bad earnings. Yeah, for sure. Oh my goodness, the price action during that earnings call, like what what was he talking about? Like I was back and forth between taking care of my son and live doing that or doing a stream on that earnings call. But when I was tuning in and out, I was like, "Bro is crashing. What are you talking about?" Now I know he knows what he's doing, but it's from what I could tell on his from a psychological standpoint, he was on the back foot. So he was a bit defensive and he was validating his own actions, and as a shareholder I trust him. I know what he's doing. I know he knows what he's doing. I know the market's not great for it, but when it's when Mike Alfred was talking. Yeah, that dude. I don't know who that is. Like I don't know if I just missed that guy in the whole rally of this whole thing, but drop in who the hell Mike Alfred is. Maybe I'll try to find some info on him myself real fast. Just because that earnings call was, just, I don't know. I don't know. I like the CIO was nice. She seemed cool and knowledgeable, even keeled. But ugh. Okay, I'm gonna start. Here we go. Let's check on that. Who is Mike Alfred? Let's be specific. Okay, key details on his open involvement. Oh, he just holds a position? He's not actually a employee? What? That can't be right. Can't be the right guy, is it? Maybe I'm getting him confused with somebody else. Doesn't matter. Moving on. Oh, what interview is that? Okay. I'll look into that after. But, just back to the overall topic on it all. Just, yeah, we're not going to see anything past here for a bit. Most likely here, which is that kind of 550. So, honestly, I'll probably just keep writing the calls for 550. Influence. He's a shareholder. Yeah, that's what the okay. So that was correct. So I did see that. Here, I saw. Is this his ex? Hold up. Screen switch. This guy. Let's see if there's anything about open here. Hmm. Here we go. I've watched Open Door founder over the past few years. I followed Open before the IPO and even had my in-laws sell a property to the company. Okay. Okay. All right. Nothing new from his account on this, but Mike Alfred. I don't know. They have too many freaking influencers, and that's a down. That's a down thing. That's like a bad thing sometimes. Quantum Queso Dip says covered calls is generating $1,000. Yeah, congrats, bro. Like easily, like easily. Like you can even write them out every 2 weeks. Like it depends on what I'm doing or how I want to use the profits. Like I don't mind waiting a couple weeks because obviously it's been pretty range bound. Or I'll do at the very most about 30 to 45 days. I don't write them out any farther than that. But I might only because I don't see it changing. Or just write some, not all of it, but write some for a little bit farther, depending on if it gets juiced or not. Like it looks like it's in the middle. I'm gonna pull that back up. I'm talking about it like you can see it and you can't. There we go. Like the RSI down here is in the middle, and for me personally, I don't do jack when the RSI is in the middle because I have no idea what's going on. Okay, so that is Mike Alfred. Okay. I'm gonna go do a little bit more digging and stuff into him. There's so much stuff to watch, but I'm doing my best to keep up. Thank you for helping me out with this too, bro. IBIT. Oh yeah, IBIT is just I gotta get back into that honestly. Like I'm seeing so many people talk about IBIT right now. Just there's so much different types of cryptocurrency and blockchain and Bitcoin exposure. I don't know if I want to pick up IBIT too. Maybe I'll reallocate from some other stuff. Maybe sell some of my hold. I don't know. Just hodl HODL. Yep, from Vanek. It's just because it's easy to more or less trade without having to touch my Bitcoin, without it being super duper volatile. Like it's just easier. I don't know, but maybe I'll get into IBIT too. I'll look into that over the weekend. Might be a little bit late for Corning, but I'll look at some call. I was looking at calls, but they were just juiced up today, so I wasn't gonna buy any today. Maybe when we get a little bit of a turnaround on it. I know, right? That yeah. So Quantum Queso Dip says the problem with Bitcoin is you can't generate a dividend uh, on pure Bitcoin. That's for sure. And earlier in the pod, I was talking about that too. That keep your Bitcoin over there, and then just trade some sort of exposure to Bitcoin. IBIT is great. 17. That's what's up. 1750 IBIT equals 1 Bitcoin. Legend. That's how you know this man trades IBIT well. He's got it down to the amount. Let's look at IBIT. computer. Damn Lenovo over here giving me shade. Oh, that's not bad at all. So I was in this position way back. I don't even want to say it way back. I was actually in it somewhere about here and then exited because I didn't know what the heck I was doing at this point because my son was like 3 months old when I was messing around with iBit the first time. And then I played around with like stuff like Misty and Ulti and just got just hard into dividends and then just got my ass kicked somewhere about up there. It started when I was getting my teeth kicked in on my dividend stocks. So I had to throttle back on a lot of stuff that I did hold. But I think it's looking at, because it's the price action of Bitcoin, this is a... All right, bro. So you just buy the iBit and then enjoy the dividend, or do you trade this? If you're still around, drop that. I'm just curious. Because I mean, what are the options chain looks like? Okay, okay. All right, all right. So it's not like, okay. Covered calls. Oh, that makes sense because you can still enjoy the dividend. Oh, dude, that's like double dipping. I was thinking about doing that with Coca-Cola. Reinvested premiums for more. Yes, yes. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna Okay, I'm gonna look into how how to get into this then, because you sold me a bit. Because it's a good effing idea, and I love Bitcoin exposure. This is basically, you can just turn it off. Like if I didn't feel like doing the covered calls, I could just let that bad boy drip. Okay. Damn, Quantum, you sold me. Okay, sounds good. I'll look into it Monday. Because I think Bitcoin will come back down a bit, so I feel like this will come down a little bit too. So you compound your contract numbers. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. We got to get into this in actual pod, or we'll just talk stories over Zoom or something. Like hit me up in my DMs. We'll connect so we can talk stories because you got a lot of info that I wanna share with other people too if you're willing to talk it out. But yeah, so let's look at Bitcoin real fast because then that'll tell me when I can pick up more or pick up repick up a position in iBit. Resistance is at 83k per. Okay, okay. Here, okay. So I figure wait, see what it does at 83k. But we got, but I think we have the Clarity Act getting passed soon, so I think that's kind of bullish. So I might have to consider just picking up a couple starter packs and then waiting to see what happens if the act actually gets passed. Because then that's it. Poof. We're gonna be back at 95k maybe. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on something getting passed by the government right now. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm gonna have to. I'll pick up a couple starter packs Monday, but yeah, it's not oversold yet at all. Just curious on the if there's the catalyst is gonna move it up higher, where it's just gonna blow through its 83 resistance up to its, because where's the last area that, because it's gonna shoot for here, huh? 80 87. It looks like it wants to clear this gap. We got a golden cross here between the, was that 50 and 100? Yeah. So there's some upward movement. Yeah, but it doesn't look overbought. Yeah, I know what you meant, bro. And it's on the higher side, so it's still got some time. But from what I can see, it doesn't tend to get too far outside of this kind of area here, right? So we're kind of getting to that tippity top. Because the last time I touched the upper band was here, early January. So it's kind of touching the upper band again. Yeah, as I talk it, Golden Cross is a delayed indicator. Yes, 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 and yes. I don't use them to trade at all. I just noticed them as I was looking at the chart. I tend to stick with the RSI, or I look at just smaller candles, Bollinger Bands, but because it kind of blew up on the top of this band too. It's because this is right here. This is where I bought more of everything, more all the exposure, except for IBIT. I should have bought IBIT down there. The one thing I wasn't thinking about. Damn, but that's okay because it pays, and that's the upside about dividend stocks is even if you're a little bit late, you just get paid anyway, so it'll wash out eventually. Upper band is at 83K ish. Yep, right about there. Because then look at the rate. That's and I'm agreeing with your resistance. Additionally, because of this too, right here we got the 200 day, and it's just gonna touch it and come back down. But I don't know. Weird stuff has been happening lately. These markets are all over the place. I mean, it's all up, which is also disconcerting because it's just up, up, up for weeks. I mean, 7,400 today on the SPY. Like the last, I think this week and last week, I kind of just been just doing my usual covered calls. I haven't been doing anything special or fancy because it's kind of, it just kind of feels everything's overbought. Everything feels expensive. Like I don't know how it's so bullish. Like I'm all about bullish, just fine. But we're not necessarily done with this crisis yet. Ah, I don't know. All right, while I'm thinking about it, I better run the ad from my sponsor. Boosh. There we go. All right, welcome back. Let's see what do we got here. Oh yeah, Bitcoin hit 60K in February and has been on an uptrend. That's what Quantum says. And yep, 100% right here. Kind of tapped. It got right under there, and then it's been on it. And this uptrend is nice actually, because it's not like during this time frame the world was doing kind of shit. So the fact that Bitcoin didn't just fall out of the sky, or when the overall crisis started, people didn't sell all their Bitcoin, right? They just kind of traded sideways. It was a great consolidation time. But because Bitcoin's price action and Robinhood's price action is roughly the same, I kind of had to make a decision to buy more Robinhood than buy more Bitcoin, unfortunately. This is just how I'm trading it right now. I like Robinhood more than Bitcoin. But I'm going to get into IBIT coming Monday and then just pick up a little bit, starter pack here and there, maybe once a week or something like that, just to see what's going on. Because I don't know what's going on. Bitcoin could be back. It could also come back down here and leave my box again. We don't know. Compare the 3-month gain Bitcoin to, yeah, done. Comparison coming up. Okay, that seems to be kind of where it stops jumping all over the place. It's here's the three. Oh, too far, too far, too far. Zoom, 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 zoom in. About here, I guess. September, November. Nope, not three. Yep, coming in. About that. From December till now, I guess that's the comparison I'm looking at. Here, hold up. Oh, chat moved a little bit farther. Oh, no sound on my end? Oh, shizzle. Oh, hold up, hold up. I don't know why. Oh, now you can hear. Okay, okay, okay. Good, 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 good. Sorry about that. I must have messed with something. I'm gonna stop touching stuff. But yeah, I hope that's what you were looking for. Yeah, I'm getting better at looking at comparisons. Getting just actually looking at them. But it, as you can tell, MicroStrategy moved a little bit more during the worst times. Interesting, actually. Let me just pull up that chart. Oh, no sound again? What is going on today? Because I haven't touched anything. Interesting. Sorry, bro. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Um. Yeah. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to fix it. Trying to fix it. How about now? No? Check, check, check. Oh, man, what is happening? Because I can hear myself. Output looks good. What's going on here? Ah, shoot. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. How about can you hear? Does that have sound? Fuck. Hold up. I got another idea. What is happening? Okay, if you start hearing me, just holler. I'm not quite sure why. How about now? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm not gonna touch anything. Okay. Oof. Okay, good. I'm glad to. Oh, all right. Thank you for being patient with me there. I'm still learning all this. I don't even know what happened, honestly. I think I just reset my microphone because this is on. But it happens to the best of people. I see this happen on podcasts, so I don't feel absolutely god awful about it, but shit. All right, let's get back to it. Where is MicroStrategy's price right now? Nice to know I'm talking to another parent here in the chat. Happy Mother's Day to your family, by the way, Quantum. Now, with Mother's Day being Sunday, there's most likely not going to be a podcast till way late in the evening. So even if I do actually have one Sunday, just because it's an important day to the family, maybe I'll do one on Monday night instead. Now I don't know if you played around with Misty at all, the dividend stock off of this one. That was great at first, and then that got bad, and I'm glad I cut my line before it got terrible, because they ended up having to do like where they combine the stock together, reverse split. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, change this back. All right, there we go. Just leave it be. I'm not gonna touch any more stuff. It's up over 50% ish in the last 3 months. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. But back when it was starting to fall, like no one wanted to talk about it. But that this right here, when it started falling out of the sky, no one wanted it to go down to this level. But I saw it, and I'm like, no way it's gonna go down there. But it probably is, because that's where the last support area was. And it did. Now, I'm not going to touch this. I'd rather just buy either Bitcoin directly or iBit exposure. This is just not my vibe. I like dividends, so I didn't mind Misty, but I don't know if I'm going to mess with that again either. Oh, Quantum Queso Dip says leaps when it was 100 and did a bull call spread when it was in the one. Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, this is your sector. Like, we're definitely going to have you just cover most of this Bitcoin stuff if we end up with a podcast. It's just your vibe. I'd rather just leave it in your hands. Because as far as reading stuff goes, I'm pretty rudimentary. I look for strong support areas and moving averages. Other than that, I'm just not as affluent at it. But I'm getting there. I've learned harder things in a shorter amount of time, so this is going to be fun. Yeah, I think it's on its way back. And it got pretty bullish after his speech at Bitcoin conference too. Dang. $100 though. Like this was up really high. Like did you have share did you end up having to like did you have shares up here? Up in the 500 range? Yeah, high volatility, high premiums, 100%. As long as the underlying asset doesn't come down with that volatility too. That's where I get caught up sometimes. It's like, yeah, the premiums are great, woo! But then I realize, oh shoot, I'm just getting my face kicked in. Volatility dragon, yeah, yeah, I can see that. I'm probably not gonna touch this dragon. I don't see why. I mean, it's pretty bullish right now. Like I can see it coming back up into this range by September, right? Even if Clarity Act passes and something more bullish sentiment wise, or a bigger catalyst comes along, yeah, we could very easily see Bitcoin back at 100K and MicroStrategy, yep, back at 500, 400, 400, 500. I don't see why not. Sold in the 300s, back in the one. Nice, nice, nice. Sold in the 300s, bought back in the 100s. Genius stuff. So 300. Where was the last? Oh, up here. Oh, smart. So you kind of sold it up when it was right before it took a downfall. Nice timing, dude. Man, perfect timing. Because it's not like it's ever going anywhere. But it was just far too bullish last year, I guess, for it to sustain, and the markets didn't like it, and it came down. And then the whole Jane Street debacle. God, nerds. but that's okay. Hopefully that won't happen again. If it does, whatever. You just buy more. It's just funny that it took a round trip, not this, but Bitcoin, from when I started this whole game. Wrong one. Nope, also wrong one. There we go. All right, we got a time check. Oh, 9:19. Yeah, I better cut this pod. It's 9:19 in the evening. We're gonna be back later on next week. Anywho, so no sense do too much and push it into the evening too far. An hour and a half podcast is a long one, but hey, I made it this far, and I haven't passed out. All right, I'm gonna just chill for a second. Sold MSTR in the 300s. Bought ticker SCIF. Oh, Cipher, yeah, in the $9 share with someone. Yeah, see, that's the genius stuff where you take your profits and roll it into stuff. Because a lot of earlier in the year there was a lot of gold rallying and metals rallying, and I took profits off of that because those look really extended, and then rolled them into things that I'm buying now. I'm still sitting on some of those profits just because I didn't know what the heck was going on, honestly. I didn't know whether the markets are going to go up or they're going to go down. Right now it's all been up, and I'm just grateful. I'm not going to try to get creative with it. Right, I don't know what the heck is going to happen. It's probably going to come down a bit. Maybe. I don't know. But as far as profit taking, right now would be a good time. Just for all of you out there who end up listening to this, just if you have some profits and it's inside of your profit system, just take it. Trust your gut, especially if you've been following your position for a long time. Sometimes you might catch a whiff of something bad or good before everybody else. So continue to trust your gut and trust yourself with your shares. But as I bring this pod to a close, I want to thank Quantum Queso Dip for joining the chat and helping me move this podcast along with some interesting content for everybody. Coming up next week, we got, what do we have going on next week? Let's double check real fast. I don't think there's anything too big going on. I know we got earnings, but just a preview of next week. Now, I know for the weekend it's Mother's Day, like I said, so please call your moms, call your grandmothers. To your moms out there who are watching this, happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you for being a mom and supporting all the people in the world who require you. Moms don't only take care of children, they take care of husbands, they take care of their parents. Moms are the glue that hold the world together, right? All right, so some economic events coming up for next week. We got China CPI coming in Monday, U.S. existing home sales. Okay. Now, it's not a big catalyst. Like, I don't expect that the U.S. home sales coming in on Monday to move Open Door, but maybe it'll bring it back up above $5. Who knows? It's not going to do anything big. Tuesday, we got U.S. CPI coming in at 8:30 a.m. Pretty sure that's my time. German, nah, no one cares about that. Wednesday, US PPI and some Fed speeches. Thursday, US retail sales, initial jobless claims, import prices, and inventories. Now, Thursday is a pretty big day, I think, to look at because of the jobless claims and the import prices. We're getting a little bit more tariff talk happening again, so keep your eyes out for that. That could be a bit of a downward mover on the market, like last April when tariff talk started to blow the floor out for a lot of great stocks. That's when you get in. That's when I got in at Nvidia at like $89, something stupid like that. So this could be an opportunity if these tariff talks go a little bit sideways. Trump meeting with Xi summit, also in Beijing, happening Thursday as well. Interesting that that's coming in at the same time. Import prices, and he's meeting with China? Huh. That feels coincidental. Maybe we get something bullish that day. I hate that that's how you gotta kind of trade now. It's just watch what the president does. And then Friday, Empire State Manufacturing, U.S. industrial production and capacity utilization, University of Michigan's consumer sentiment. Interesting. All right, and that's kind of the big movers for next week. Mostly I'm looking at Thursday then. Oh, yeah. Uh, Sorry about I pulled this up. Oh, everything mean reverts. Yes, exactly, Quantum. Yeah. And also a good earnings week. Yep. This was definitely a good earnings week. What do we got as far as earnings coming up next week? Let me check that too. Okay, so as far as notable earnings go, we got Hims and Hers reporting Monday. Oh, I don't touch that kind of pharmaceutical play. The only pharmaceutical play I've got is Schrodinger. Also, Monday is Constellation Energy and Barrick Gold. Okay. Tuesday, JD. No idea what that is. Wednesday, Cisco. Ooh, Cisco, Nibius, and Alibaba. All right, so we're looking at Wednesday. So that's probably the next pod I'm going to do. I'm curious about Cisco because they did sort of return from the .com drop off, just like Intel. So I'm curious to see what happens with Cisco. And then Thursday, ASTS. Oh, Space Mobile. Yeah, I'm not in that either, but we can. I'll look into that. That's anything space. I'm curious about. I'm just not quite sure what type of exposure I want to put into space yet. Plug Power, New Holdings, and oh, Qubits, D Wave. Now I think I'm gonna pick up some D Wave again too. D Wave Quantum did me well early on and then came back down. But that's the things coming in for next week. Earnings, job claims data. So we're looking at Wednesday, Thursday, I think is big for me personally. If there's anything else going on, I will bring it up on late night Sunday. Most likely my pod will be Monday. The week to come will be Monday. We'll push it back one day. But with that being said, thank you for joining me today on this podcast. As always, farewell, a hui ho. Please stay safe. Tell your mothers Happy Mother's Day for me, and I will see you on the porch.